Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Yasodhanandana Pradajana Ranjana, Yasodhanandana Pradajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunjabihari, Jaya Gopi Janavallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Yasodha Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yasodha Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Sri Radhe, Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Sri Radhe, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivratacharya Stotha Swinga Avecharanaharand Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Godi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhu, you read the Prabhupada's Leelamrita. I'll just read 2 paragraphs before you start the class.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhupada rose early despite having kept late hours the night before, and after the morning class, he was back in the kitchen. Now, half a dozen disciples sat in his front room making dough for puris and samosas. He had shown them how to make the dough, and Umapati had kneaded for a while by pounding the soft dough with his fist. But Brahmananda was better at it, soaking the weight of his restless body onto the large lump of dough. As Swamiji entered the room to examine the quality of the puris, his disciples looked at him respectfully. They were always serious when he was present. He picked up a puri and examined it. It is not to the standard, he said, but you will have to do. Then, amid crumpled rejects and oddly shaped pieces of dough, he squatted down beside his helpers, who were trying as best as they could, though making a mess. He took a small ball of dough, pressed it flat with his fingers, and then deftly rolled it out until it curled around the wooden pin and then fell off a perfectly round puri. He held it up, displaying a translucent, thin, but not too thin patty of dough. Make them like this, he said, but hurry. On discovering that the dough was too stiff, Swamiji added a little ghee and then a little milk and kneaded the dough to a softer texture. Everything should be just right, he said, and his disciples took to their menial tasks with concentrated earnestness. Who among them had ever heard of these things before, puris and samosas? It was all new, and the challenge something very important. It was a part of devotional service.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktirabhade Naistagi Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pangajanabhaya Namo Pangajamalini, Namo Pangajanetraya, Namaste Pangajangre, Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramaka, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Parajanam, Vasudeva Paradhava, Vasudeva Paradharma, Vasudeva Paragati. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to another session of Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 28, text number 19 and 20. Puranjana becomes a woman in the next life. We'll start with text number 19. Namayaneste bhunkte nasante smati matparam mayi rushte rusantrastam bariste yatavak bhayat namaya anasite bhunkte nas snate snati matparam mayi rushte rusantrastam bariste yatavak bhayat namaye anasite bhunkte nasnate snati matparam mayi rushte rusantrastam bariste yatavak bhayat. Hare Krishna. Anybody want to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can try.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Namoi anashite bhunte nasnate snate matpara moi rushte shusantrasta bhatshite yato bhagvayat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Prabhu. Please carry on, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Namai anashite bhunte nasnate snati matpara mai ruste susantrasta varshite yata bhakvayat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Please carry on, Mataji.
Namaya nashite bhunkte nasnate snati matpara moi rushte susantrasta bharshite yatabak bhayat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. I am also trying.
Please, Mataji.
Na maya nashite bhunte nasnate santi matpara moi rushte susantrastha bhatshite jat bhagyavat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Please carry on, Mataji.
Namayana site bhunakte nasnate sanat snati matpara mayi rushte shushantrasta bhratsite yat bhaga bhaya. Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you.
Anybody want to read the synonyms?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Yeah, please, please.
Na, never. Mai, when I, Anashite, had not eaten. Bhungte, she would eat. Na, never. Ashnate, had not taken bath. Snati, she would take her bath. Matpara, always devoted to me. Mai, when I. Rushte, was angry. Shu Santrasta, very much frightened. Bhart Site, when I chastised. Yatavak, fully control of words. Bhayat, out of fear. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Mataji, carry on the translation also, please.
Okay,
Hare
thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mataji, you want to read?
Anybody wants to
Yes,
read?
Mataji. Yes,
Naika Mataji. Okay,
Yeah,
carry
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Mataji.
Please, please, please.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai.
King Puranjan then began to think of his past dealings with his wife. He recalled that his wife would not take her dinner until he had finished his, that she would not take her bath until he had finished his, and that she was always very much attached to him, so much so that if he would sometimes become angry and chastise her, she would simply remain silent and tolerate his misbehavior. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Purport, anybody wants to read?
Can I
Hare
read, Prabhu?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yeah, please.
A wife is always supposed to be submissive to her husband. Submission, mild behavior, and subservience are qualities in a wife which make a husband very thoughtful of her. For family life, it is very good for a husband to be attached to his wife, but it is not very good for spiritual advancement. Thus, Krishna consciousness must be established in every home. If a husband and wife are very much attached to one another in Krishna consciousness, they will both benefit because Krishna is the center of their existence. Otherwise, if the husband is too much attached to his wife, he becomes a woman in his next life. The woman being overly attached to her husband becomes a man in her next life. Of course, it is an advantage for a woman to become a man, but it is not at all advantageous for the man to become a woman. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll go to text number 20, please. Prabodayadi ma avijnanam Yushiti sogakarsitam Vartmaitad graha medyam Virasur abhineshyati Prabodayati ma avijnam Yushiti sogaharsitam Vartmaitad graha medyam Virasur abhineshyati Prabodayati ma vidyam Viyushide sogakarsitam Vartamaidad graha medyam Virasur abhineshyati. Anybody wants to try? Please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Please.
Dandavata
Carry
pranam.
on, Prabhu.
Prabodhyati mavijnanam Ushite shokakarshita Bhattamavitad grihavediyam Virasura api nishyati.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am trying also.
Please, please, please carry on.
Prabodayati ma vigyam bhushite shokakarshita Vartmaitad griha medyam Vira Shurapi Nishyati.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please, please carry on, Mataji.
Prabodayati ma vigyam vyushite shokakorshita Vartmoitad griha medyam Virasurapi neshvati. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Mother.
Prabodhayati ma vigyam viyushite shokakarshita Vartamaitad griha medhiyam virashropi naishyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please, please try. Mother.
प्रबोधयति मविज्ञम् वियोसिते शोककर्षिता वर्तमैतत् गृहामे धियम् वीरसूरपि नेष्यति. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Prabodayati, synonyms, gives good counsel. Ma, unto me, avijñam, foolish, Vyushide, at the time of my being away. Shoka, by aggrievement. Karshita, being aggrieved and thus dried up. Vartma, path. Etat, this. Grahamediyam, of household responsibility. Virasuhu, the mother of great heroes. Api, although. Neshyati, will she be able to execute? Anybody wants to try the translation and purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat
Please,
Pranam.
please carry on, Prabhu. Please, Kanjava.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. King Puranjana continued thinking how when he was in a state of bewilderment, his wife would give him good counsel and how she would become aggrieved when he was away from home. Although she was the mother of so many sons and heroes, the king still feared that she would not be able to maintain the responsibility of the household affairs.
Good. Purport. Purport. Anybody want to read?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At the
Jai.
time of death, King Puranjana was thinking of his wife, and this was, this is called polluted consciousness. As
Okay.
Lord Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita 15:7, Mamaivangsha jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana manasastani indriyani prakritistani karshati.
Karshati.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal and fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity is, after all, part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit. In other words, Krishna's constitutional position and the living entity's constitutional position are the same qualitatively. The only difference is that the living entity is eternally an atomic particle of the Supreme Spirit. Mamaivangsha jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. In this material world of conditioned life, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord, the individual soul is struggling due to his contaminated mind and consciousness. As part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, a living entity is supposed to think of Krishna, but here we see that King Puranjana, the living entity, is thinking of a woman. Such mental absorption with some sense object brings about the living entity's struggle for existence in this material world. Since King Puranjana is thinking of his wife, his struggle for existence in the material world will not be ended of his life. Will struggle for existence in the material world will not be ended by death. As revealed in the following verses, King Puranjana had to accept the body of a woman in the next life due to his being overly absorbed in the thoughts of his wife. Thus, mental absorption in social, political, pseudo religious, national, and communal consciousness is cause for bondage. During one's lifetime, one has to change his activities in order to attain release from bondage. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 3.9. Yathartat karmano annatra loko
Loko ayam karma
yam
bandhana.
karma bandhana. If we do not change our consciousness in this life, whatever we do in the name of social, political, religious, or communal and national welfare will be the cause of our bondage. This means we have to continue in material conditioned life. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 15:7, Manosastani Indriyani Prakristani Karshati. When the mind and senses are engaged in material activity, one has to continue its material existence and struggle to attain happiness. In each and every life, one is engaged in the struggle to become happy. Actually, no one in this material world is happy, but the struggle gives a false sense of happiness. A person must work very hard, and when he attains the result of his hard work, he thinks himself happy. In this material world, people do not know what real happiness is. Shukam atta
Atyantika.
attantikam yat tad buddhi griham atindriya. 621. Real happiness must be appreciated by one's transcendental senses. Unless one is purified, the transcendental senses are not manifest. Therefore, to purify the senses, one must take to Krishna consciousness and engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Then there will be real happiness and liberation. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:8. Striyam yat abapnauti yat shapi utkramatishara Grihavaitani samyatani Vayurgandan ivashayat. The living entity in the material world carries its different conception of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. If the wind passes over a garden of rose, it will carry the aroma of roses. And if it passes over a filthy place, it will carry the stench of obnoxious things. Similarly, King Puranjana, the living entity, now passes the year of his life over his wife, a woman. Therefore, he has to accept the body of a woman in his next life. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So, text number 19. Na maya nasite bhukte, na snati matparam, mayi ruste susantrastam, bharatide, bharastide yatavak bhayat, prabodayati ma vijnanam, yuyashet shogakarshita, vartamaida grahamedyam, virasur abhi neshyati. Text number 99. Okay, thank you. Once again, welcome to this session of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chachurutmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guru Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadadi Soparantikam Vandegam Sri Guru Sri Yudapatakalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavanja Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sakagana Raghunathan Vidam Tamsajivam Sadvaitam Savadudam Paridana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sakagana Lilidam Sri Visakamitancha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांद राधा कांद नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we have seen the text number 19 and 20. Here, King Puranjana is a state of anxiety and bewilderment. His material knot is so strongly embedded in his family affairs. That is called Hridaya Granthi. And for Puranjana, it is very difficult for him to untie the knot because of his infatuated material desires he had in the past. That's why he is remembering about his wife, what will happen to her when he passes away. He is more attached to his wife. So long as he was alive, so he's in the verge of death, so long as he is alive, he is not acting like a grahastha, but he's acting like a grahameti. Most probably we may know the difference between grahastha and grahameti. The grahastha's responsibility is to give protection to his wife. Whereas here, Puranjan used his wife only for his sense gratification and produced many children. He never thought of giving any protection to his wife during his lifetime. Now he is worried what will happen to her after he passes away. So he is in the mode of Grihamedi. And his mind is so polluted and his mind is so disturbed. When the mind is polluted by many fruitive desires, and the living entity wanted to transfer from one material position to other, surely he will not be delivered. But perpetually, he has to accept one material body after another. That's what Prabhupada clearly says that. Prabhupada clearly says in the purport that he has to accept the body of a woman. Yam yam yabi smaran bhavam yajanti anta kalevaram. In the 8th chapter, Bhagavan says that. Whatever is the type of consciousness you have, you will attain that nature. There is no doubt. We can also observe from this the King Puranjana's struggling to get. King Puranjana is struggling to get his thoughts on the right path. Not only his mind is polluted, but his thoughts are also polluted, and he is unable to get his thoughts on the right path, right spiritual path at the time of death. This type of situation is going to happen to many of us. This type of situation that at the time of passing away, this may happen to many of us unless one is practiced the spiritual path. It is said that our life journey is completely learning process. Our life journey is completely learning process, and death is an examination. Therefore, our future destination will depend upon how we write or how we fare in our examination. The thought in our life should be towards writing the final examination of our life. Somebody may pass with a distinction. Somebody may get an average mark. Somebody may fail in the examination. There are 3 options in the examination. That is the final examination we have to face. Those who pass with a distinction, he may continue his devotional service in this next life, or he may be elevated to the upper planetary system. And one who pass average marks, he may get human body, may or may not get a human body, or he may be sent to another species in this material world. And those who miserably fail in this examination, they will be sent to the hellish planets. So these are the 3 options available for writing the exam. So we have to prepare ourselves to writing the final examination of our life. If we have not practiced, it's very difficult for us to prepare for the exam. So it is absolutely impossible for us when at the age or old age or advanced age to practice this spirituality when 4 breaths are left in our body and I want to chant Hare Krishna. That's not possible. That's not possible. Already there are anxieties of our mind and body, and how we can concentrate on this type of activities. That's what happening for King Puranjana. He is unable to get his thoughts right on the right path, and he is thinking of his wife and his wife's welfare, and what will happen to his wife after he passes away. It is something like, if we are not practiced at the young age, it's very difficult for us to practice at the old age. With struggle, we have to struggle. It is something like a child saying that throughout the academic year, I will not open the book, nor do I take the notes or whatever the classes they conduct. But only a few days before the exam, I will open my book and study. That's enough for me. But he doesn't know that even if it is an open book exam, he will not know from where to copy from. So that is the condition of all our conditioned life. We are searching for the solution in this world, searching for the solution in this world. But the solution is the final examination. You have to write properly. For that, you have to prepare throughout your lifetime. You have to prepare yourself to write the final examination. King Puranjana is facing the same situation for many of us. His mind is disturbed. His thought process is not proper. So in this connection, I would like to share the beautiful verses from Mukundamala. Many of our earlier devotees has mentioned about this thing. Even I want to share this. Mukundamala Stotra by King Kulasekara. King Kulasekara is one of the greatest devotee of Srimad Ramanujacharya of Sri Sampradaya. And he says in his poem, Prana Prayana Samaye Kaba Vada Pitta Kanda Avarodhana Vidam Smaranam Kudaste. And he further says that Diviva Bhuviva Mama Astu Vaso Narakeva Narakantaka Pramagam Avadirtha Sara Araviddao Charanebi Maranebi Chindayam. He says that, oh Lord, I am helpless at the time of death. I am helpless at the time of death because of blockage of my throat by mucus, bile, and improper respiration of the body. I may not be able to call out your name at that time. Therefore, let me fix my thoughts on your lotus feet. What a beautiful, beautiful verse, this one. Prana Prayana Same Kavavada Vittahi Kanda Avarodhana Vidam Smaranam Kudaste. Smaranam Kudaste, I cannot remember you at the time of my passing away. So now let me fix my thoughts on your lotus feet. And he further states that Diviva Bhuviva Mama Astu Vaso Narakeva Narakantaka Pramagam. Oh Lord, if I deliver to a upper planet system, or I will remain in the material on this planet system, or I will be dispatched to the lower planet system, I am not bothered, Lord. But my only request is that wherever I am, whatever position I am, I should be able to remember your lotus feet. That is the prayer of King Kulasekara. King Kulasekara. So you can see the contradiction of King Puranjana and King Kulasekara. What is their attitude? Attitude when they are passing away. No, Kulasekara was not passing away, but he returned even before that. But his attitude is he wants to remember the lotus feet of Lord always. Whereas King Puranjana is always remembering his wife's welfare, wife's future. So this is the contradiction between these two. In the purport also, Prabhupada say that when a man is always thinking of wife, he will become the woman in his next life, and vice versa. Why the man is attached to women is because of her beauty, her services, and because of other assets. The anxiety is also the cause of attachment. Anxiety is also cause of attachment. As asakti. Asakti can be two ways. Asakti towards material things, asakti towards spiritual. Prasangam ajaram pasam. Atmano kavayo viduhu. Sayeva sadhisvuhu kritavo. Moksha dwaram avapridam. Attachment to one thing will lead to entanglement in this material life. And attachment to this other thing will open up the path for liberation. Attachment to other thing will lead for open up the way for the liberation. Prasangam ajaram pasam. Atmano kavayo viduhu. Sayeva sadasvaho krido. Moksha dwaram apavritam. This is the saying of Lord Kapiladev to Devahuti in third canto. Attachment should be leading to the liberation and not to the entanglement. Whereas here attachment of Paranjana is entangling himself into the material world again and again. So he has to accept a material body one after the other. It also says in Srimad Bhagavatam in second canto, Dharma Swanita Pumsakha, Swanishta Pumsa, the occupational duty, Dharma Swanira Pumsa, Vishwachano Kadasi, not where Ziradiram, Samayevehe Kevalam. The occupational duty of everybody, if it does not provoke the law of Godhead, then it is become a useless labor. Dharma Swanita Pumsa, Vishwachano Kadasi, not where Ziradiram, Samayevehe Kevalam. It is simply a waste of time. And it further say that the three verses continuously in chapter, first canto, second chapter, I think, second chapter, verse 8, 9, and 10, continuously say that. The first say that occupational duty does not provoke the message of Supreme Personality of Godhead. It becomes a useless labor. Then, next verse it says, Dharmasyahi apavargasya. Artho, na artho. Arthovaya kalpade. Na arthasya dharma ekandasya. Kamo labasya hai smriti. All occupational duties certainly meant for liberation, and it should not be used for material gains. All occupational duties should be certainly for liberation from this material world and should never be used for material gains. This is the second verse. And third verse says that Kamasya Indriya Priti, non-Indriya Priti, Kamasya non-Indriya Priti. Labho jivade yavata jivasya tattva jitnyasa na artho yasya karma bihi. Jivasya tattva jitnyasa nyayartha karma yasya cheha karma bihi. Life's desire should not be directed to material gains or sense gratification. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. But what should be directed? Jivasya tattva jitnyasa. It should inquire. It should be inquiring about the Supreme Absolute. It should be inquiring about the Supreme. That should be the life's ultimate goal. So we have seen Dharma Swanishta Pumsa, Vishwachano Kadasi, not Paradiram, Samayeveke. Now, Dharmasyahi Apavargasya, Nartho, Artho Vaya Kalpade, Nartasya, Dharma Dharmasya Ekandasya, Kamo Labasya, He Smriti. Kamasya Indriya, Na Indriya Priti. Jivasya Tattva Jitnasam, Na Artho Yasya Karma Bihi. So these three verses will throw some lights. What should be the occupational duty of every human being? The King Puranjana has not followed the occupational duty properly. That's why he's struggling. At the time of his passing away, he's struggling to get his thoughts right and takes his mind all right. And he's always thinking of his wife and what will happen to his wife. So Prabhupada also says, for that matter, everyone will face frustration due to the body at the time of death. Even if our body falls apart or at the verge of death, we can still serve even at the verge of death, we can still serve Supreme Personality of Godhead by just remembering Him. That is a service. Because the body is giving us so much frustration. People will feel frustration at the time of death. But even at that time, we can serve the Lord by just remembering Him. Bodily activities are necessary for survival, but it does not mean that they will provide everlasting satisfaction. Bodily activities are necessary for survival, but it does not provide everlasting satisfaction. But some people may ask, both will die, devotees will also die, non-devotees also will die. What is the big difference? What is the big challenge in that? But it is said that in a hospital, devotees also will go for treatment, non-devotees also will go for treatment. But people will cooperate with the treatment, and some people may not cooperate with the treatment. May or may not cooperate with the treatment. The problem is that those who cooperate with the treatment, they will go out of the hospital. And those who does not cooperate with the treatment also go out of the hospital, but their destination will be different. That's what we face in the material world. The devotees also, after passing away, will go to a destination, but their destination will be different. Whereas non-devotees also pass away after the life, but their destination will be different. But you can imagine that how Puranjana, where he is heading for. Where he is heading for? He is heading to a hell. He is going to meet his own hell by remembering his wife at the time of. I have two important points that arises from these two verses actually. From these verses and purport of Srila Prabhupada. There are maybe some other points maybe coming, so you can share at the end of this lecture. The first point is how to purify ourselves, because Prabhupada also mentioned about this purification of one's existence. So the point number one is how to purify our existence in this material world. Prepare ourselves for the final examination of our life. And number two, what should be our consciousness at the time of passing away? These two important things which came to my mind. Actually, there may be few more points which we can explain later. So, as far as the first point is concerned, how to purify our existence while living in this material world. So, let us see the chapter 16, first verse. Lord says to Arjun, Abhayam Suddha Samsuddha. Abhayam, that is fearlessness. Sattva Samsiddha. Sattva Samsiddha means purification of one's existence. How to purify one's existence? We have to purify internally as well as externally. Because only in the human form of life you can purify yourself, not in any other form. There is an opportunity given to us to purify ourselves in this material world, in this lifetime. How it is possible? The purification is possible only by sadhana, practice. So, in this life itself, we have to prepare for the next life. Otherwise, we will become so miserable. We have to purify externally and as well as internally. So, more purer we become, we can experience our own joyful nature. The more purer we become, we experience more joyful nature of ours. How to purify? There are simple methods of purifying ourselves. Now, by chanting yourself, by chanting a Mahamantra, all our senses, all our bodily elements will get purified. And first is chanting, second is association with the devotees. By associating, we will purify our surroundings. That is number 2. Number 3, by taking Krishna Prasadam. By taking Krishna Prasadam, the all finer elements of your body, finer tissues of our body will be purified. Therefore, once the elements of the bodies are purified, our conscience become purified. And once our conscience is purified, we will develop a divine qualities in us. That will be the thought process while singing. That is the point number 1, to purify ourselves in the purify our existence. Number 2, what will be our consciousness at the time of passing away? There's a beautiful verse from Ishopanishad, last verse of Ishopanishad. I just read it out. So that is verse number 18. Agninaya smugaraye asman vishwani deva vayunani vidwan yujodi asman juhuranam yeno bhuyushtidam te namayuktim videmam. And the translation says, "O my Lord, powerful as the fire, omnipotent one, now I do offer you all obeisances, falling at your feet on the ground. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And you know all what I have done in the past. Please make me free from the reactions of my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress." So this is the ultimate prayer at the time of passing away. So there is no ambiguity while our thoughts are clear at the time of passing away. We have no attachment. We have no attachment. We are detached from everything. We go with the concentrated consciousness and to the lotus feet of the Lord. That should be our attitude at the time of passing away. Prabhupada also says that, he says, one has to continue his material existence and struggle to attain happiness. Living entities in this material world struggle to attain happiness. In fact, no one is happy. Why? Nasti buddhi ayutaksya, nacha yuktya subhavana, nacha bhavyada asantim, asantyasya kutasukam. One who is not connected to the Supreme have neither transcendental intelligence nor steady mind. Nasti buddhi ayutaksya, nacha yuktya bhavana. They will not have a transcendental intelligence and steady mind. How can there be? So there is no possibility of peace. When these two things are not there, wherein there is no transcendental intelligence, there is no steady mind, there is not be any peace. How so? How there is no possibility of any peace. So how can there be a happiness without peace? So this is a concomitant factor. Peace and happiness go together. When there is no transcendental intelligence, there is no steady mind. If you are a steady mind, you will get an intelligence and use the intelligence for the service of the Lord. That's why you get peace. That's why you get, that will lead you to happiness. So, and there are so many other points in Ishopanishad. The prayers are made at the time of passing away, the full consciousness. One has to learn this art of employing these senses in the service of the Lord during his lifetime, so that one can utilize the result at the time of death. What is that? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaram uddyacha. My arpido manobuddhi maveshisa asamsaya. Always remember about me. And you will come back to me. That is a promise of the Lord. So with this small explanation, I would like to end my lecture. And anybody has any suggestion, questions, or comments on this, I look forward to that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Oh, what a wonderful class explanation of text 19 and 20. You have elaborated the thing so nicely, so simple way to understand what is the exact occupational duty in our life. Getting the example of King Kulashekara, the difference between King Kulashekara and King Puranjana is 180 degree. King Kulashekara, yeah, King Kulashekara was thinking how to end his life, how to prepare his life within this life itself, and what is the life cycle of King Puranjana is entirely different. So the main point is how we prepare ourselves. As you mentioned, the preparation for exams. It is not an stage makeup. You have to go through every day, and
Correct.
finally you achieve your goal. That means you pass on the examination. What grade, that is a different issue. But if you don't prepare yourself every day, you can't pass on the stage makeup. And that is what exactly happening with King Puranjana. Throughout the life, he didn't take care of his next life preparation. He was just engrossed with the surroundings, with his relatives, wives, till- and so on. So what happens actually? So at the end of life, the body didn't cooperate to
Correct.
prepare himself for the next journey, and all
Correct.
because of all this connection. Sorry, he was uh, he was feeling that what he has already left out of his life without with desperation, that he has lost everything and nobody is cooperating with him because he has not prepared throughout the life. So
Correct.
Prabhupada is mentioning you have to prepare your life for the next life so that
Hmm.
at the end of life you don't struggle. Will be a swift and easy journey for each one of us. As you mentioned, both devotee and non-devotee die, but the destination is different. That we can't see, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens always, but it is a question of understanding, and that understanding comes from your preparation for the next life. It doesn't come in one day. You have to
Correct.
prepare yourself, and you need to understand what is the ultimate goal of life, and you have to prepare. That's why he said your occupational duty should be diverted towards the right goal of life, not in the material activities, and that way we can understand what would be our destination, because without that preparation you cannot make a stage makeup. That's a text 1 point sorry 1.214. Tasmat ekana manasa bhagavan
Correct.
sadpati
Bhagavan Sat.
Tattva
Yes.
kritivasya deya pujyasya nittada. And that is the
Correct.
preparation. Without that preparation you cannot do anything. That's a Srila Prabhupada has given the last uh, stanza that
Correct.
Sharinam yat avapnoti yat chapi utkramitrishara griha vaitani samyati bhayur
Adi
gandhan
Vayuranam
daya.
Bhavasi.
So that is the actual life. The living entity in this material carries this different conception of life from one body to another, as the air carries aroma. If the wind passes over the garden of roses, it will carry the aroma of roses. And if it passes over filthy place, it will carry the stench of obnoxious things. Similarly, King Puranjan, the living entity, now passes the year of his life over his wife. That's why in the next life he is compelled to take the life of a woman. So this is the lesson. So in the preparation of our life, we need to understand what is the difference between Grihamedi and Grihastha. And if we fail to do so, and this is the ultimate goal going to happen with each and every one of us. So Prabhupada has given us the platform. What we should do to just take it up, follow it, practice it, and ultimate goal is there. As Prabhupada said, don't leave ISKCON. That is the reason, so that you don't miss your ultimate destination. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your wonderful explanation, Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful explanation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, now attachment is it with the immediate family or is it with siblings and relatives and all those things? Now, obviously, we are already in practicing Krishna consciousness, so Krishna has already has mercy on us by having a detachment with the siblings, mother, father, in-laws, and all. We are all away very, very far. Now, how to detach with the family, immediate family, like wife and kids, you know? Is there anything, can you explain a little bit more on?
See, this is in the 13th chapter. Lord says as in the 13th chapter, verses 8, 9, 10. Amanitvam, Madam Vittam, Ahimsa, Shantirarthvam. There are 20 elements of knowledge. Detachment doesn't mean that we have to throw our family out of the house. No. But doesn't mean that it should be indifferent with our family members, indifferent with our children, indifferent with our the siblings. But we have a responsibility to protect them. We should continue with that, but at the same time, we should not be more attached to them. Amanitvam, Adambittam, Ahimsa, Shanti, Achoryapasanam, Saucham, Shailam, Atma Nivigraha. Indriyarteshu Vairagyam, Anahangare Evacha, Janma Mrityu Jaravadi, Dukkha Dosha Anudarsana. There are 20 items are coming in that. See, Putra Dara Grahadishu. Putra Dara Grahadishu. We should have the responsibility as a Grahastha. We have the responsibility. We should do the responsibility. It doesn't mean that as a Grahastha you should take a sannyasa and go away to the forest. No. We should carry out our responsibility. That is the beauty. That is the duty of Grahastha. That is the occupational duty of Grahastha. No, doesn't mean that you have to reject your family. Am I correct, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, absolutely.
We should not reject our. We have to cultivate the Krishna consciousness to each and every members of our family. That should be our aim. By behaving ourselves, not that by compulsion. By behaving ourselves, they should fall into the path of Krishna consciousness or spiritual path. That is our duty of Grahastha. That makes us detachment. That makes us the family, this Krishna-centered life, Krishna-centered family. Not that because you are not practicing, I will not accept you. Not I will reject you. No, in no way. In no way it says that. We have to do our occupational duty. Our occupational duty is what? Protect the family. As a Grahastha, we have to protect the family, give protection to the children, give protection to the wife. That's our duty. But at the same time, we should never be attached to the wife. Karmanyavadhikarasthi na. Okay? Karmanyavadhikarasthi. So we should not attach to the results of the wife. We should never attach. Understand? That's right. Am I correct, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for explaining.
Read the chapter 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yes.
This verses clearly explains what is knowledge.
Okay.
That doesn't it doesn't say that you reject your life. No. You have to live your life.
Yeah, so in this chapter now, Prabhu, as King Puranjana is still thinking about his wife.
Yeah, yeah. His attachment, his bodily attached, not only bodily attached, mindly is attached, everything is attached. He is not thinking of the spiritual path at all.
Yes.
He is using his wife only for his sensual activities, not for any other thing. No, he doesn't want to give protection to his wife. He doesn't want to give protection. He wants to produce only children. Hundreds and thousands of children have been produced from his wife, but he doesn't want to give protection. But at the time of death, he is feeling what will happen to her.
Yeah.
That is not that should not be our attitude. That make you attachment, because his attachment comes from the anxiety. He's anxious. What will happen to her? That will be he is attached to her, his wife. Okay. Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna. It seems nobody is there to continue the question answer session. Then we can end it here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हित ग्रेस वैकुंठेश्वर